You might be a high-strung personality and not even know it. Welcome to the conversation about the high-strung personality, a topic that is often misunderstood and overlooked. High-strung personalities are those that are typically intense, anxious, and often emotionally reactive. They are the ones who can't sit still, are always on the go, and have a tendency to overanalyze situations. Understanding if you have a high-strung personality is important because it can help you navigate your relationships, your work, and your overall well-being in a more effective and positive manner. It's not about labeling or boxing oneself. It's about self-awareness and embracing all parts of our personality. Only then can we harness these traits to our advantage, rather than letting them control us. So, are you ready to discover if you're part of the high-strung club? Let's dive in and explore. First off, you might be high-strung if the smallest things set you off. Your coffee isn't hot enough? The traffic light took a decade to turn green? Boom, your stress levels skyrocket. High-strung individuals often find themselves on edge, as if they're always walking a tightrope. They're the ones who seem to be constantly bracing themselves for the worst-case scenario. The world is full of uncertainty, and for someone who's high-strung, this uncertainty can feel like a ticking time bomb, ready to explode at any moment. They overthink, analyze, and agonize over the tiniest details, turning molehills into mountains. This overthinking can be the cause of many sleepless nights, as they replay scenarios in their minds, trying to figure out where things might go wrong. And when things do go wrong, as they inevitably do in life, those with a high-strung personality might struggle to handle the situation. Despite having thought through every possible outcome, the reality of the situation can be overwhelming. All those carefully laid plans, they might just go flying out the window. High-strung individuals often have a heightened response to stress. They're like stress magnets, absorbing all the tension and worry around them. This heightened stress response can leave them feeling drained and exhausted, making it difficult to cope with day-to-day life. So, if you're constantly expecting disaster, you might just be high-strung. Secondly, perfectionism might be your middle name. This isn't the casual, I like things to be neat and tidy sort of perfectionism. No, this is an all-consuming pursuit of flawlessness that can leave you feeling perpetually unsatisfied. High-strung individuals are often caught in the relentless grip of perfectionism, always striving for the unattainable. Absolute perfection. This obsession can manifest in all aspects of life, from work to personal relationships, and even to the most mundane tasks. A simple mistake to you could feel like a colossal failure, a glaring mark on your record of excellence. It's like you're always running on a treadmill, constantly moving but never quite reaching your destination. The finish line keeps moving, and no matter how much you achieve, it never feels like enough. You scrutinize every detail, every angle, every possible outcome. You're meticulous, which can be a good thing, but it can also lead to an overwhelming sense of pressure and anxiety. You set incredibly high standards for yourself, often unrealistic ones, and falling short of them feels like a personal defeat. This constant pursuit of perfection, the relentless self-criticism, the feeling of never being good enough, these are all hallmark signs of a high-strung personality. It's a tough cycle to break, but knowing is the first step. If you're on a never-ending quest for perfection, you could be high-strung. Thirdly, relaxation. What's that? You may find yourself asking this question often if you're a high-strung person. The concept of taking a break, letting go, and just breathing easy might feel alien to you. Instead, you find yourself caught in a perpetual state of motion. You're always hustling, always moving, always finding something to do. It's like you're a car that's stuck in overdrive, unable to shift into neutral, let alone park. In your world, the idea of sitting still, doing nothing, seems like a waste of time. You might even feel guilty or anxious when you have nothing constructive to do. Social events, meetings, even waiting for the kettle to boil, can become sources of stress because they're not about accomplishing tasks or making progress. But here's the thing, we all need downtime. We all need moments of stillness to recharge our batteries, to regain our balance. It's in these moments of quiet that we find our center, that we find peace. Yet for you, these moments are few and far between. You're like a tightly wound spring, always ready to bounce into action. The thought of just sitting quietly, of doing nothing, is enough to make you feel restless, anxious, and on edge. So if you're constantly on the move, if you find it hard to switch off and chill out, if every moment of stillness feels like an eternity, then you might be a high-strung person. If you're always on the move and struggle to chill out, you might be high-strung. Fourthly, you don't mince your words. You're the kind of person who believes in calling a spade a spade. For high-strung individuals like you, honesty isn't just the best policy, it's the only policy. You see, you don't have the time or the patience to sugarcoat things, to beat around the bush, or to play the diplomatic game. You believe in straight talk, in direct communication. This directness, however, can often come across as aggressiveness. You aren't afraid to speak your mind, to voice your opinions, and to stand up for what you believe in. And while these are undoubtedly admirable traits, they can also make you appear confrontational, argumentative, even intimidating at times. You don't always say politically correct things and have no qualms about saying the truth, even if it ruffles feathers. This can often result in misunderstandings and conflicts. And even though your intentions might be good, your words can sometimes be misconstrued, leading to unintended consequences. But here's the thing. You aren't trying to be aggressive. You're just trying to be honest, to be open, to be transparent. You're just trying to be you, and that's okay. It's okay to be a straight shooter. It's okay to be high-strung. But remember, it's also okay to occasionally soften your approach, to consider the impact of your words on others. If your straightforwardness sometimes rubs people the wrong way, you could be high-strung. Fifthly, are you always in a hurry? A characteristic trademark of the high-strung personality is a constant sense of urgency. You seem to be perpetually racing against the clock, like a sprinter trying to break their own record. Your days are filled with an endless list of tasks and responsibilities, and you're always on the go, trying to ensure everything runs smoothly. This ceaseless rush can often feel like you're spinning plates, trying to keep everything balanced while simultaneously adding more plates to the mix. Your mind is a whirlwind of thoughts, constantly strategizing and planning, never truly at rest. You're living life at 100 miles an hour, and it feels like there's never enough time in the day to get everything done. This constant state of rush can make you tense and anxious, and you might find yourself particularly sensitive to high-pressure situations. A sudden change in plans or unexpected challenges can send you into a tailspin as your carefully constructed schedule comes crashing down. In a world that's always moving and evolving, it's natural to feel the need to keep up. But if your life feels like a marathon with no finish line in sight, it might be time to slow down and catch your breath. Constant rushing isn't just exhausting, it can also take a toll on your mental and physical health. So, if you're always in a rush and can't handle high-pressure situations, you might be high-strung. Lastly, do you find it hard to switch off your brain and sleep? It's like your mind is a machine that never powers down. When night falls and it's time to rest, your thoughts are still racing on the Daytona 500. Every problem, every concern, every possibility is like a car whizzing around the track of your mind. This is a common struggle among those with high-strung personalities. They find it difficult to quiet their minds and drift off to sleep. Their brains are like supercomputers, constantly processing, analyzing, and overthinking. Every detail of the day, every interaction, every decision made or pending becomes fodder for the late-night mental marathon. While some people count sheep, high-strung individuals are more likely to count worries, plans, and what-ifs. The quiet of the night, meant to bring peace and rest, often becomes a stage for the mind's dramatic performance. And it's a one-man show with no intermission. This overactive mind not only robs them of sleep, but also of the restorative benefits that come with it. The inability to relax, even in sleep, can lead to chronic exhaustion, which only fuels anxiety and stress, creating a vicious cycle. So if you find yourself staring at the ceiling, your mind buzzing like a beehive while the rest of the world sleeps, you're not alone. It's another sign of a high-strung personality. If you're lying awake at night with a racing mind, you're likely high-strung. So do any of these signs sound familiar? Share your thoughts in the comment below.